Hey everyone, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Slann tournament rosters. So Slann are back. We've done the video for starting rosters for League. So the Slann is a frog team all about Leap that is covered by the NAF rules for tournament 2021. So we've looked at tournament rosters and starting League rosters for every team available for Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's in the rulebook, the PDF teams of Legend from Games Workshop, or the expanded teams from the NAF, which had Khorne and Slann in. And now we're going to look at some tournament rosters for the Slann team. So we're going to look at 1100 and 1200 TV, that's 1.1 million and 1.2 million team lists. The reason for that is because I think 1.1 is probably going to be the smallest tournament roster size. And this gives you two different points where you can look at a list and think, actually, I've got 50k more, I've got 50k less, this is what I can take. And also, if you're going to a tournament and you've watched these videos, you should have a reasonable idea of just what your opponents can afford in your tournament meta. Anyway, let's move on to Slann tournament rosters. So first up, we've got Vanilla Slann. There's an ice cream I wouldn't buy. Anyway, at 1100 you get the 1100 mix. So looking at this roster, you get 1 Crocs, 3 catchers, 2 blitzers, 5 line frogs, and 4 rerolls. So that is 11 players and 5 rerolls. Slann have kind of expensive-ish positionals, or at least to say they kind of have a tax in that you want to go reroll heavy. You don't really want to roll any less than 4 rerolls because you do have the potential to fail so much leap. Now these guys have got pogo stick, which means they are always leaping on a 3+ or a 2+ with the catchers, so you've kind of got that to lie on a little bit, but there's no integral reroll available for leap, so you are going to be burning through those team rerolls if you do it. Now the benefit of this roster is you get the Crocs and you get 3 of the 2+, so a 2+ agility catchers. So that's going to be great for picking up the ball, for catching the ball, and for leaping around on your Frogo stick. Their passing has obviously taken a bit of a hit because they used to be essentially Edge 4, so the catchers used to be the catchers and the throwers for the team. They're down to a passing of 4+, same as the line frogs and the blitzers. So the passing game has been hurt, but actually the catchers there with agility 2+, pogo stick, and movement 7, they're going to get around quite a lot. Now the 2 blitzers are not really blitzers, they're an interesting positional. Diving tackle, jump up, pogo stick, and very long legs. Essentially that jump up and diving tackle means you can kind of tag people in place, but realistically that jump up is useful for just failing a leap. And those guys have got armor 9+, so they're actually pretty resilient. Skills wise for this team, you can go in a load of different directions. So the Crocs, if you've got a double, this is a tier 2 team, so you should end up with a couple of doubles. Double skills, this is, sorry, secondary skills. The Crocs with block, very, very tasty. Failing that, Brawler on a cheap. Armbar combines really well with the prehensile tail. Or just guard is going to make the rest of your team much stronger. Catchers, honestly guys, taking dodge on these guys makes them awesome. Sure hands is definitely something you can consider, but with agility 2+ and this many rerolls, you should be able to handle the ball. Guard on a double with these guys makes that 2+ leap really good. Okay, so if you've got a double and you can put it on one of these catchers, that is going to combine well with everything because you're going to get that 2+ guard piece, which means you're basically getting a 2 die block on everybody ever. So that is a significantly, that's a really good tactic. Block or wrestle on a catcher is definitely something worth to consider as well. Block will help keep your catcher alive. Wrestle is going to make you a really good sacker. 2 die up wrestle is really effective. Doesn't feel like it, but actually it plays out much better than kind of that 2 die up block normally does. The blitzers, like we said, don't actually have any combat skills, so putting block on them is really good. Wrestle as well. If you've got a wrestle blitzer and a guard catcher, you should realistically be able to get a 2 die block with wrestle on most people if you work that well. This is the kind of strength of this team, is that leap allows you positioning. However, you are heavily relying on these rerolls here now. But this team got even better because the FAQ allows you to use multiple rerolls a turn. So if you leap in with your catcher, it rolls a 1, you can burn a team reroll, put that catcher exactly where you want to. You still get a 3+ reroll for your leaping blitzer, or whoever you're blitzing with, if you still got the reroll. So actually really important there. The line frogs themselves, actually block helps keep them alive. They're armor 9+ and movement 6 and strength 3. So they're kind of basically human linemen with with pogo stick and very long legs. That makes them pretty decent. They've got agility 3+ as well, so do not underestimate them. And with that 3+ pogo stick, they can break out of places better than people can dodge. So that's going to be really key for you. 4 rerolls is going to round up the team. So getting guard on any of those guys is great. Kick is going to be superb for this team because those catches are movement 7. With a 2+ dodge, with a 2+ leap going 2 squares, they are getting over the enemies, over that front line in no time at all. So you drop a short kick using the kick skill with these guys, there is a really strong possibility that you are going to be able to be on that ball when it drops. So kick is going to be huge for the Slann team in tournaments. And because the team can be quite varied, at 1100 there is a slightly different option for you, which is the 4 catch 1100. Coming in at 1080, you get the Crocs for mashing and you get the 4 catches for dashing. 4 players with a 2+ forever leap and 2+ agility and movement 7 gives you an incredible amount of flexibility. That is backed up by 7 line frogs and a 4 reroll build. You can drop a lineman and replace it with apothecary to keep your catches alive. I probably would recommend this because you are going to fail some leaps and you are going to lose some dudes. So this is kind of a really solid build. You get the 4 catches to leap around and do stuff. You get the line frogs, and because you're only giving up jump up, which believe me is more advantageous than you'd think when you've got leaping blitzers and things like that. But actually you can fill that with line frogs, and the benefit here is the apothecary is going to keep those catches or maybe even your Crocs alive for longer. So slightly different variant. You get a little bit better agility and a little bit better resilience here, but you kind of do lose a little bit of punch. Okay, let's ramp things up to 1200. So we've got a 1200 mix here coming in at 1200k, I think, maybe, potentially. That's what we're going with. I may have deleted that list to play around with stuff, and I have, never mind. So 1 Crocs, 3 catchers, 2 blitzers, 5 line frogs, 5 rerolls, and that apothecary. So on this roster, yes, you're missing out on that 4th catcher, but you've got the apothecary to keep him alive, and you've got 5 rerolls. You can drop the apothecary, take reroll 6. Now when you are playing with unlimited rerolls, now this is going to make this leap team absolutely awesome. You've got the Crocs for smashing stuff. You've got those blitzers who are 1 skill away from just being aggravating as you like. Wrestle combines beautifully with jump up. Leap combines beautifully with jump up. So those blitzers with wrestle are going to do some serious work. They might get fouled out a bit. There's a huge amount of variety and a huge amount of potential here with skills for this team. So at 1200, getting that Crocs, getting 3 catches, getting your blitzers, getting your frogs, and 5 or 6 rerolls to just superpower this team. It's like frogs on NOS. And the last of the vanilla teams, we've got the no Crocs 1200, 4 catchers, 4 blitzers, 4 line frogs, 4 rerolls. You can drop a line frog, take an apothecary if you want. You're going to miss the Croxagore, but actually this roster is going to be way more agile. You're going to have to rely on dodging and have to rely on blocking and positioning to keep those guys from being absolutely murdered. But 4 blitzers there with jump up, 4 catches there with that agility high, and 4 rerolls the apothecary. 1200, this gives you an absolute ton of jumping around doing stuff. I love the Crocs. That muscle helps keep like 3 of your players alive over the course of the game. Not having that is going to be tough, but if you want to absolutely ride the pogo stick high, this is the roster. So let's have a look at a couple of star players you can fit into this team. So these guys, you will not be surprised to find they are the Lustria Super League, which is basically Karla, Zug, and Zolcath the Zoe, along with Grak and Helmet as well, because everyone can take those because they are all about sharing and caring. So Karla 1200 comes in at 1190. You get Karla von Kill, movement 6, strength 4, blodge, and some other stuff. She does great work. You also get the Croxagore, 2 catches, 8 line frogs, and 4 rerolls. So what you give up here is your positionals. Okay, we're looking at maybe 2 blitzers and a catcher you no longer can afford. But you get that really solid player in Karla von Kill. She is block, she is dodge, she's got movement 6, she's got agility 3+, and she's got that strength 4. She will provide a really different angle to this roster. The thing is, she doesn't complement the team. What you're going to end up with is playing a Carla von Kill team backed. You're just playing Carla backed up with Slann. You're going to be able to leap around and assist her, but Carla is going to be doing the most of this work. If she hands off to a catcher though, that catcher, as soon as they are 9 squares away from the end zone, it's a 2+, 2+, 2+ touchdown, and those are really good odds when you're running all these line frogs, all these rerolls. Vulnerability of this roster is there's not a lot there else. Catchers are great on offense. They are a stretch on defense. They can do some stuff, but it's going to be 2 dice up. It's going to be tough, and you're going to lose some guys. You're going to lose probably a catcher. You're going to lose 1 or 2 line frogs because you just got no skills to protect them. Having dodge on the catcher is going to help keep them alive. Having block on the line frogs is going to help keep them alive, and you should be able to spare a double for a Crocs, which is going to give you some brawling, but it's going to be kind of tough going. It does, however, give you Carla, and Carla's not bad. Okay, last roster I've got for you is Zug. So 1200, you get Zug, a Croxagore, 2 catchers, 8 line frogs, 4 rerolls. So exactly what we just talked about, except this time you get Mighty Zug. So the Zug build almost complements the team a little bit better. You get 2 guys on the line. With that skill, you get 2 Mighty Blow blockers. That brings a significant amount of bash to this team. If you've got some doubles, you can chuck guard on someone, maybe some line frogs, block on line frogs here. So block on the Crocs, 2 block line frogs, 2 dodge catchers, and actually you've got a pretty reasonable team. The downside is that when you start going to 1200, you start playing against some really powerful teams. Now this against any 1100 roster would be mighty. This against another 1200 roster is going to feel a little bit behind, because although you've got Zug, and Zug is awesome, and you've got a Croxagore and they're not bad, you are lacking in the ability to do other stuff. You're going to be leaning very heavily on vanilla Edge 3 guys. You've got a couple of catchers. Catchers are superstars in this roster, and like I said, when you get dodge, it's pretty awesome. But you're going to miss the mass, essentially. But this roster is going to be able to hold its own. 2 of those big guys on the line is going to be strong enough to compete with most teams out there, except maybe a guard heavy Black Orc team, or if you end up at the bottom tables running against ogres, you're going to have some strength out there. But actually, you should be in a good position against ogres, and when it comes to the Black Orc team, your team should be able to disengage, and you should be able to move your line frogs around to support your big guys to take out theirs. And then, quite frankly, the catchers are in a pretty good spot if they're fighting against goblins. Equal footing, just faster and more agile. I love it. Anyway, that is going to wrap up our Slann tournament rosters. Please let me know in the comments what you think of the Slann rosters, whether you think they're different star player builds, different builds, which ones you like. There's a lot of people out there who aren't happy that the Slann are back, but very similar to the Khorne team. There's just no other team that is similar, and even though Slann is contentious, should we say, in the Blood Bowl world, they obviously came in as Kislev in Blood Bowl 1, it plays in a way that no other team does. And if you love running hot dice and you don't want to take goblins, you take Slann. It's such a cool challenge. They're such a challenge to play against, and they just open up really interesting avenues for you. And while they're here, I really recommend playing some games with them, because when they are gone, if they go, it will be very sad, because whether you like them as canon or not, leaping around all the place is a lot of fun. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back again soon with more Blood Bowl content. See you later. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.